If narcissists lack object constancy, how can they want you back? Are you wondering if maybe they're not really a narcissist? We're going to break that down in this video. I'm Dr. Melissa. I'm a trauma expert and top doctor. And in this video and on this channel, I help you identify the hidden narcissists in your life, identify the impact that they're having on your life, and then turn that trauma and that drama into gold, becoming stronger and more powerful than you ever were before. If this sounds right up your alley, click subscribe and click that notification bell so that you're notified of each and every video. Today we're talking about narcissists and object constancy. If they lack object constancy, how can they want you back? And I know where this question's coming from. You're hoping, right? You've read that narcissists lack object constancy, but your partner hoovers you after every discard, even after they've blocked you. They obviously remember who you are. Maybe this means they're not a narcissist. Are you sitting there like fingers crossed, hoping that they're not a narcissist? There are more things wrong with this way of thinking than one can count. But let's start with understanding the narcissist mind and what object constancy actually means. Let's start by talking about object permanence. Object permanence is the knowledge or the understanding that people or things still exist even when you can no longer see or hear them. This is a developmental milestone that doctors look for in children around the age of 9 months. It's around that age that you start noticing that a child will look for their toy if they watch you put it under a blanket. They'll look for food that they've dropped off their high chair tray that they can no longer see, but they'll look to see if they can see it again. They watch for you to come back when you leave the room. And they start to play peekaboo. That is object permanence, that knowing that someone or something still exists even when you can no longer see them. And even though they sound similar, object permanence is entirely different from object constancy. Object constancy, on the other hand, is the ability to see a person, yourself included, as having both good and bad qualities at the same time. It's being able to hold the fact that someone can have both strengths and weaknesses. When you have object constancy and you make a mistake, you might think to yourself, I learned from the experience. I'm really grateful for those lessons. Or, I'm a good speaker. I just wasn't the right choice for their event. I'll apply for another opportunity. Or maybe I missed paying this bill this month, but I've always been really responsible. How can I revise my systems so that something like this doesn't get missed again? Narcissists lack this skill set. They see someone, themselves included, as either all good or all bad. And they can flip on this viewpoint from all good to all bad, back to all good, back to all bad, within moments. The narcissist can say, oh, you're the best thing that ever happened to me, in one moment, and truly mean it. And then say, I wish I'd never met you, and truly mean that the next. In their mind, you have shifted from all good to all bad, and they feel deceived. When they see you as all good again, they completely forget about the bad times. It's as if those memories no longer exist. They don't remember feeling negatively about you, and they don't remember being hurtful. This is why when you bring up those memories or those events, they can very convincingly say, that doesn't sound like me. Because they, in that moment, are only seeing you as all good, it is inconceivable to them that they could have seen you otherwise and reacted to that viewpoint. Likewise, when they see you as all bad, they forget about all the good times. They forget about all of your good qualities. This is when you'll hear them say to you, you never loved me. You're a horrible person. You've been using me all along. This is why it stings so badly. Because in that moment, they genuinely feel that way. And to be clear, the narcissist sees themselves the same way, either all good or all bad. When you point out something they've done, some way that they've hurt you, even if you do it kindly and gently, they assume that you'll have categorized them as all bad. And you'll hear them say things like, that's right, everything's always my fault. Or, I'm always the bad guy. Or, nothing I ever do is good enough. You're left confused saying, I didn't say that. Object constancy is something that differentiates people with narcissistic traits from those with narcissistic personality disorder. Those with narcissistic personality disorder do not have object constancy. Those with narcissistic traits may. And to be clear, narcissists are not the only ones who lack object constancy. There are other disorders where people lack object constancy as well, and even victims of narcissists, especially children raised by narcissists, may lack object constancy because their parents were unable to teach them that, to give it to them. So let's bring this conversation back to object constancy and the discard, your discard. The narcissist who has blocked you after a discard has not forgotten that you exist. They have object permanence, as do most people over the age of 9 months. The narcissist lacks object constancy. So while you were all bad when they discarded you, they may shift you back into an all good category and try to hoover you when they need narcissistic supply or other resources. Or they may keep you in an all bad category and they won't try to hoover you. In that case, they may gain narcissistic supply from smearing your name to other people and from the support and supply they receive from their flying monkeys. The hoover does not mean that they have object constancy and are not a narcissist. It doesn't mean that they really love you and have changed. It simply means they've flipped your switch back to all good. If this video resonates with you, if you understand the difference between object permanence and object constancy, and that narcissists do not possess object constancy, type "I understand" in the comments. Then like this video, share it with someone else you know who needs to understand this really important concept. And if you haven't already, click subscribe, click that notification bell so you're notified of videos just like these. And if you know that you need help moving along the healing journey from narcissist victim to narcissist survivor, I invite you to download my free guide, a guide that will give you clarity not only about where you're at now, but what comes next. And you can do that at narclesslife.com. I'm Dr. Melissa, and I will see you in the next video.